Hello, I have another infinite loop to show you, and the reason I like this one is because it actually seems semi-feasible to actually do in a real game. I don't know, maybe that's overstating it, because the hardest part about this is that you need to be on 6 damage, and obviously if your opponent knows that, then they're not going to let you do that easily. There are ways to get yourself to 6 damage, even ways that might fit alright into a deck that wanted to do this, but anyway, I think it's interesting. I just love infinites, as we know. So what you need, all you really need is you need about 6 damage. You need Aranea and Windrake in your hand, and then you need Tilica in play with 4 other backups. Some combination of Wind and Earth and at least 1 Lightning, probably. But that's actually easy to do in these colors. And you need Urianger and Zoo. And they can be in your break zone. Obviously, they could be in your hand if you want, but in the break zone is fine. So that's basically all you need to start it. And then that gives you infinite CP. And that infinite CP you can do basically whatever you want with. I have a couple of things that I think are really good and will just win you the game straight away with minimal investment in your deck and in what you're doing. But I'll just show you, I'll start this video and show you. So you start by tapping Tilica, and that's going to make all your things cheaper for the rest of the turn, and then you play Aranea and get back Mirage. Oh, sorry, you have to have your Stoller in play, so I forgot to mention that. Or any Scion, but Stoller's obviously the best one because it's much harder to kill and it also protects things. So you get Urianger out and you target Zoo, and Zoo gets revived because you have 2 Scions, because the Stoller's a Scion. And then you play Windrake. And so this is where Windrake comes in because it's got haste permanently because of Aranea, and you can bounce Urianger and Windrake, and that's in essence how you're getting infinite CP because you can just keep playing Windrake and Urianger, bouncing them, and using that Urianger to replay the Zoo over and over again, so you can just keep untapping your backups. So as long as you make sure that every single time you're using Urianger to get back Zoo, the moment Zoo's gone, you basically end up with this 4 CP that you saw just there. That's the 4 CP that you have to do whatever you want with. And the best part about this is because all your forwards have haste and all your forwards cost 1 less, or your characters even, you can basically spam any character that costs 4 or less. And you can use any character that costs 4 or less infinite times, as with Windrake. So you can basically use any energy you want, as many times as you want. Now, the obvious thing to me is, we don't have Riku. If we had Riku, I'll just say put a Riku in your backup line, you just mill them out with that. But because we don't have that, so instead you can use Thief. We have multiple Thieves that will let you infinite mill your opponent if you can just keep playing them. The 1-cost Thief you can see over there. But say that's in my deck already, so I don't have access to that. That's where Larkishus comes in. So I don't know if you saw that. I might restart the video, and you can watch again, and I'll explain again. As you can see, we tap Tilica to make everything cheaper, play Aranea, get Urianger. Urianger targets Zoo, Zoo gets revived because we have a Stoller. Use Zoo to activate your backups, play the Windrake, bounce the Urianger and the Windrake, play the Windrake again, activate the Zoo, play the Urianger again, get the Zoo back, and from there you can use your CP to do whatever you want, and you'll see that I will use it to play Larkishus most likely, because Larkishus lets you search for any monster, because he has haste as well. And the important part about that is, if we can search any monster, then we can get basically any card in our deck. Because Luminous Puma, we know that will cost 4. That will actually work in our loop, and that can get us every character in our break zone back to our hand. But more importantly, something like Yeoman will let us draw a card, which means we can draw infinite cards, which means we can draw our entire deck out if we need to. So if Thief is in our break zone, for example, you could just get a Luminous Puma with your Larkishus and then use Luminous Puma to get Thief back and then start from there. Or if Thief is in your deck, you can use Larkishus to search your deck for some kind of monster that draws. I used Yeoman because it's the cheapest one and it's on color. And you can use that to draw as many cards as you want, and that can draw you into Thief if you haven't already seen it. And you can basically just keep doing this. As you can see, I'm pretty sure I just keep doing this for like a few minutes. But you get the idea, basically. The most important thing is that every time you sack Zoo, you replay the Urianger. That's the main thing. As long as you're doing that, you can use your CP how you want to. So you just throw some Windrake on Thief in there, or Windrake on Larkishus. Obviously, because you can bounce Larkishus as well, you can use this effect to get something back in your break zone again. All that kind of stuff. You basically just get to do whatever you want. And the main reason I like this is because it's mostly on color. Yes, there's 3 colors among it. However, those 3 colors are actually really easy to mix up, because Earth has Tyro now, which is any color CP and lets you search the deck for any forward, which really helps put together the combination, of course. Earth has Minfilia, which can search Ishtola and Urianger, which is an EX searcher. It has Norstalin on color to search Tilica, so Tilica's really easy to get to, so you can say about Norstalin down there. And it's got the Wind Earth Moogle as well as the Earth Lightning Moogle, which are the exact 2 color combinations we want. And the other thing is also Shantoto. If you're playing a deck like this, then Shantoto is often a very good option, naturally, because if you're just trying to set something up and your opponent wants to aggro you out, then Shantoto can punish them for that, and that's also rainbow mana. And it's not interfering with your starter Shantoto or anything like it is in a lot of Earthwind decks these days. So there's a lot of room to actually build a semi-real deck out of this, in addition to having access to an infinite loop without too much investment, which I think is really interesting. And one of the things I want to talk about is you need to be on 6 damage, and that's obviously going to be hard, especially if your opponent knows what you're up to. But Cactuar is on color in this and works really well with Lachesis as well. So you could actually probably set up your own 6 damage fairly reliably if you intended to by reusing Cactuars with both Urianger and Lachesis. And Lachesis can search them as well, obviously, and that will kill your opponent's forwards at the same time, which will help you not get aggroed out, theoretically, which is probably what might happen if you're trying to damage yourself. So basically there's kind of a lot of angles you can take, and there's not that many drawbacks to the kind of stuff this loop has in it, like there is in a lot of other loops. I guess keeping a Stroller alive might be a bit hard now that Braska's finally on exists and can actually kill it. But there's basically, yeah, I think it's pretty cool, really interesting. I'll stop the video, sorry, you've probably watched that like way too many times by now. The other thing, so I'll point out, like, he's just Luminous Fury and Yeoman, like I talked about, is probably my choice for the kind of package to give you access to literally everything and use that CP to do whatever you want. But you can get creative if you really. I mean, you can do stuff like Citra, get back a summon that draws a card, you can draw infinite cards like that, or, you know, get back a summon that adds something back and get break zone, all that kind of stuff. You basically do whatever you want, like I keep saying. Anyway, yeah, that's, I just want to show people that because I think it's really interesting. Cheers.